Welcome to Season 4 of Design Together, a podcast about how designers work together. This season, we'll be focusing on folks who are just in the first few years of their careers. We'll call it Starting Out. My name is Abby Guido, and I am your host. Hello, everyone. Today we have with us Allie Osipov. She'll be kicking off our new series all about the first few years of your professional career. Welcome to the show, Allie.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So we're going to start back when you first began higher education. And I want to hear a little bit about your path to school, what you were thinking of studying, and just a little bit about how that experience was.
Yeah. So I'd always kind of been interested in art and did like painting and ceramics in community college. And then decided to transfer to Temple. And to be perfectly honest, I had no idea what graphic design even was, like when I was taking computers for design and like those kind of like intro classes you need to apply to the major. So I guess like in doing work for those classes, I kind of was like learning what graphic design actually entailed.
So what made you take the classes in the first place?
I think I was more just looking for like a practical way to apply like art and design and like the background that I had. And it was just kind of like natural next steps, but I hadn't like looked super into it.
Can you think of any times in those beginning kind of introductory design classes where something kind of clicked for you, where you kind of realized, this might be a path for you?
I think, one of the first, I think we were doing like logo designs or something in one of like the preliminary classes. I think we were trying to like mix concepts together to create logos out of them. And I think like the concepting part was just like really fun and like, I guess learning the process from like start to finish. Cause before when I did like art and design things, I had trouble kind of looking at like big picture things and like fleshing out ideas. But in those early design classes, we kind of learned how to take a process from like idea to actual like deliverables. And I feel like I was like, oh, this is like nice to know how to do these things. Like, yeah.
So it kind of felt like natural and you were attracted to the process of it all.
Yeah.
And then while you were in school, that's your first kind of introduction to design, and then you get into some more classes. When did you start thinking about getting an internship?
I think it was like probably the first year I was in the program. I think I was looking for something that summer, and I was just kind of like peeking around. Like I know Temple has like Handshake?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was looking on there a little bit, and ended up taking on an internship with my illustration professor from, I think it was the spring semester for that summer.
What was that internship?
So it was with Grace Duong from Mystic Mondays. She designed a really awesome tarot deck. So I helped her out for a few months with like illustrations and just like different design needs and stuff like that.
Awesome. And I know you've had a few other internships also while you were in school. Do you mind talking about some of those experiences as well, how you found them and kind of what you learned while you were working there?
Yeah. So I interned pretty briefly for 29. I think they're out in
Conshohocken.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was cool. I liked being there. It was sadly cut short by COVID, like many things were. But so that was like my first kind of like dip my toes into agency life.
Okay.
And it was cool. It was nice to like see everyone kind of like working together and collaborating on projects. And kind of like...
So at that time, I'm guessing you were going into the office?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I went in like twice a week, I think.
Awesome. And then you had COVID hit.
Yeah.
Did they stop the internship because of it?
Yeah, they put on pause.
Yeah.
And then I think that was March. And then in May, after graduating, I started interning for Truth and Consequences, which is an agency in Philly.
Great. So that's kind of a unique path. A lot of folks as they're graduating might think maybe an internship isn't for them. Could you talk a little bit about what made you, decide to take them up on an internship and kind of put a pause on the full-time job search?
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't think too much of it. I was just like, this sounds like it would be a good experience and seems like an interesting company. I think at the time they were just kind of I think they were just kind of starting out. And yeah, I didn't really see any reason not to take it.
When you agreed to the internship, was there a length of it?
I don't actually remember. I think it might have been like 4 months or something. Or it might have been 2. Yeah, I kind of forget.
No worries. It becomes, I think that everyone has a little bit of the COVID fog when you think back on those few years.
Everything's a blur.
Yeah, totally understand. So you had the internship right after you graduated, but before you graduated, what kind of preparation did you have to kind of think about the job search? It sounds like, you were like, yeah, sure, I'll take an internship. And it wasn't, that big of a deal. But did you have any kind of guidance or any support in how to look for a job? Did you have any plans on kind of how you were going to approach it?
I feel like our professors kind of like gave us the tools to like search for things, or like, I guess just like where to look for things, whether it's like LinkedIn or like different job boards. AIGA always like posts a bunch of opportunities. And I think it was just helpful to like have a network of people in the design industry, professors.
Is that how you found the internship at Truth and Consequences? Did you find that through a job posting? Do you remember?
So I think what happened was Tyler, the Tyler Graphic and Interactive Design Instagram posted like all of the create headshots from the, I think it was just like people were finishing up their portfolios and the Instagram was sharing them. And I think the designer from Truth and Consequences, Tim, saw my post. I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's a great thing.
Yeah,
that happened.
Yeah, helpful to like have that platform. No, I feel like honestly, Instagram is like very helpful with finding work.
So now you've had 3 internships. So let's just talk a little bit about them. And by your 3rd internship, you probably were like the pro intern. What were you kind of learning along the way that definitely got you that great internship at Truth and Consequences from the other experiences and from that experience as well?
Throughout my first 2 internships and like the beginning of the 3rd one, I feel like it's like a balance of being confident and trusting your skills and like trusting yourself that you can work independently and like make good work, but also not being afraid to ask for help and like ask questions, because you're supposed to do that and you shouldn't be like scared to do that.
Which I think a lot of people kind of have this assumption that like, okay, I was trained in school and now I know everything. I'm going to get this job and I'm just going to make it work.
Yeah, exactly. Like I know personally, I was just like, I felt like annoying. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to keep like asking questions. Like I'm supposed to know how to do everything already because they're like paying me to do things, but no, I think like no one ever stops asking questions.
And I think that fear is a fear that a lot of folks have early in their careers. So what was their response or reaction when you have questions? Is it encouraged at these positions?
I think definitely. Yeah. Everyone I've worked with that I've like reached out with, like everyone is super helpful, supportive.
I always like to share that like I have more concerned when someone doesn't ask questions. Like there's actually an expectation that you're new and you will have questions. Did you feel that way too?
Yes. I think in the beginning, I was like, when I was scared of asking questions, I was like internally panicking. And I was just like, I'm just going to sit here and pretend I know how to do things. But yeah, people definitely expect that.
All right, so you have this internship, you know it's going to be ending. So what does the job search look like while you're working this internship that first summer after graduation?
I feel like we were still in the throes of COVID, and I was like, everything felt so like up in the air, and like life wasn't even real. um, so I think the first month or two of the internship, I wasn't really applying to other jobs. And then I started looking more. I think I applied on LinkedIn a bunch and just like, I think I researched different agencies and sent out a few applications. And then I think kind of ramped it up towards the end of the year. There was definitely a lot of LinkedIn easy applies. Like,
did you find that platform to be useful, or did any lead to any interviews or any job offers on LinkedIn?
It actually did. Yeah. I think I got like probably, I think I got a handful of interviews from LinkedIn. And then some.
I haven't been in the job market for a long time. Is the easy apply basically just that it already has your information, you push a button and your resume gets sent to the job?
Yeah. And obviously I wasn't like banking on those, but I like in conjunction with like actual thought out cover letters and like things like that.
So your first kind of full-time job was at a toy packaging design company, is that correct?
It was, yes.
So you want to tell us a little about how you got that job and how it went?
I think my friend reached out asking if I knew anyone who was still looking for a job, because our old professor had a connection at this toy packaging company, and they were looking for a junior designer. So I applied and sent my information, and it lined up.
So when you applied for this, did you feel like, oh, this is something I'm kind of interested to learn more about? Did you feel like, oh, this is it, I've always wanted to do toy design, packaging? Or was it just, COVID, it's a full-time job and, something I have a little bit of interest in?
I think it was just like, oh, this seems really fun. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I looked at their website and I just like toy packaging seemed like a lot of fun, and glitter and rainbow.
I feel like at that time too, everyone needed some glitter and rainbows. I just saw some pictures pop up in my feed of a big rainbow we put in our front window during COVID. So toy packaging at that time seems like what everyone needed.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
So you enjoyed it, but looking at your resume, your stay there was kind of the length of your internship. It was about 4 months. Is that correct?
It was, yeah.
All right. And I want to dive into this a little bit because I think this is another topic that many folks early in their careers, might have been told that you have to stay at your first job for a certain amount of time. And it's something that I'm going to be talking to a lot of folks this season about because, it just isn't the case any longer. And so I want to hear a little bit about 4 months. At what point did you think, okay, I tried it, maybe it's not for me?
As much as I did like it, I kind of knew that it wasn't the industry I wanted to be in long term. And I ended up finding an opportunity, like it was like 4 months down the line, that just aligned more with what I wanted out of my career. And it also had the opportunity to be fully remote, which was something I was also really wanting at the time.
Were you actively looking, or did this new opportunity kind of come from your past search? Because a lot of times what happens is folks look and then find something, but your application still gets stuck in a pile and then they find you. Or did you kind of know and say, okay, I got to see what else is out there?
I think I was like very casually applying to other jobs. Yeah, like I wasn't like, oh my God, I need a different, but yeah, just like very casually, and then something worked out.
So you're at this first full-time job. You're there 4 months. You get this new opportunity. Tell us about how that felt, having to talk to someone there and tell them that you were leaving.
It was sad because I really liked my manager. She was awesome and she was super supportive. Like, again, with like, I mean, obviously with toy packaging, like I'd never done that before. So I did have a lot of questions and she was always really helpful.
Was she the person you told?
Yeah. I was just like, hey, can you chat like on video? And she was like, oh no. I know what this is. Yeah.
So what was her reaction?
Definitely understanding. Like I told her everything that I just said here. Yeah. Understanding, thankful of the work that I'd done.
When you were making that decision, did you talk to anyone? Did anyone say like, don't do it, you shouldn't leave so fast? Or did you find that your community was supportive of the decision?
I don't think I actually even asked anyone. I think I just
might be better that way.
Yeah, I think I just kind of was like, this is the right thing for me to do.
So tell us a little bit about the new job and what about it kind of perked your interest, and why did you feel like it was such a better fit for the future?
The new job I found was at a digital agency. And I knew I kind of wanted something that was a bit more flexible. And like I said, it was fully remote. And they do more like web. And when I was interviewing, something I was also interested in was motion design. And they were really excited about that. And there was going to be a lot of like learning opportunities in motion design. Because they like invest a lot in employees' education. And like, I think that was also a huge deciding factor, was like just opportunity to like learn new skills and have a flexible work environment.
Was the pay or benefits different?
Yeah, the pay was just like a little higher. The benefits were really good. That's also a reason.
You've been in this position now for over 2 years, is that correct?
It's going to be 2 years in April.
Okay, so close to 2 years. And it looks like you've made some great advances in the time you've been there. So I'd love to kind of hear a little bit more about your experience there, particularly if you found any type of mentorship and if that's kind of helped you along the way.
Yeah, so I started as a junior designer, and I think right away I was just trying to like strengthen my digital design skills because I was going from a job in print to digital. So immediately I felt like I learned so much about designing for web, and I was able to enroll in like an animation training course. That was like one of the most helpful things.
I'm going to pause for 1 second because I'm curious. Did your company suggest that, or did you go to them and ask them if they would help cover the cost of a course?
I went to them and I was like, I knew that they wanted to ramp up their video capabilities. Like they wanted to be able to offer that to clients. And I was like, hey, this course will allow me to do that for you guys. So this is like, please do this. And they were like,
that's great though.
Yeah. They were really receptive and supportive. And it has allowed the company to like offer that to clients, which is great. And also I just have like immediately right off the bat had such a supportive director when I first got there. So I think like honestly with jobs that makes like all the difference is just having somebody super, super supportive in your corner, kind of like fighting for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just I got promoted to mid-level, I think like a year or like a few months after being there, and then a senior designer I think last year.
That's amazing.
Thank you. And
That's really exciting.
That was largely due to just like having a great manager. And
yeah, I'd love to dig into that a little bit more, because, I can think back early in my career and looking at people that I respected as a leader, and thinking a little bit like, I don't know if I'll ever have those skills. But really, leadership is like anything else. It's like your animation course you took. Like, you can learn how to be a good leader. You can study leadership, and you can kind of gain the tools to be a good leader. So I'm curious, this manager you're talking about who, kind of was on your side, what are some of those traits that you feel like make them such a good mentor, such a good leader?
honestly, it's them having the trust in you to just do your thing and like collaborate with the team, make good work, and just, I think a lot of it is just trust. And then obviously like helpful critiques.
No, trust is a really good one. Those are good things to remember, Allie, as you further along in your career and one day will be in that seat, kind of helping lead other folks. So when you started this job, I'm going to talk more about this last job since you were there for the longest amount of time. What was the onboarding process like?
I think I just got like the first day, I just like made sure all of my like paperwork and official kind of like documents were in order. And then I got set up in all of the like platforms they use. So it's like project management platform, like time tracking platform, HR platform. So just like a handful of them, and just kind of like making sure I'm ready to go in terms of like those processes. And then I think they had like an onboarding deck for creative.
Just to kind of go through yourself, or did you have meetings where folks walked you through some of these processes?
I think I went through a lot of it myself, but I did have, I had like an art director and then a creative director. So I met with both of them to kind of make sure I was like ready to go, and had one-on-ones with them.
So you've had quite a few work experiences, from 3 internships to 2 full-time jobs. I know you've also been doing some freelance as well on the side. Could you talk a little bit about how you balance that with your full-time work?
I kind of try to like balance it out, honestly. Like I'll take on a job and then do it in my off hours. And then I'll take a break for a while because I know I don't want to be doing design in my free time all the time.
All the time?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Design for fun too. No, but yeah, I just make sure to balance it out. If I have, I don't really like to do back-to-back projects. Sometimes I'll say no to work when there's like a different, more fun project I'd rather be working on down the line. So just try to plan it out accordingly.
It's great to have dreams and to, feel like I really want to work in this industry, in this great place. And, there's 4 people there, but I can definitely get a job there. I just want to talk, I know you've probably, know people like that. And maybe that was you at some point, but, looking at, you're an extremely talented designer, you're doing some really great work. How, I don't want to say how did you kind of make peace at that, but kind of talk a little bit about your thoughts of, what you want to get out of these first jobs. What is important to you now that maybe might have changed since you were first out of school?
Yeah. So I think when I was first out of school, that was me. I was like, oh my God, tiny design agency. I'm going to like, yeah, like, maybe this 4-person design agency in Montreal is going to.
Exactly. They're going to need you, Allie.
They're going to need me, and I'm going to get a work visa because no one else in the country can do that job. So yeah, that was definitely me. And then I think very quickly, especially with COVID, I was like, I really just want a job where I do my work and I do it well. And then I am like free to pursue other areas of life. that fulfill me. And I think that's still important to me. Just like balance, respect, and just like trust from a workplace, I think are very important.
Absolutely. And I also heard in there the way you're talking about some folks you work with, kind of knowing that you're in a supportive environment with people that are genuine and that want to lift you up can sometimes make or break a job, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel super lucky because I feel like my workplace is very healthy, and I feel like other areas of life can thrive whenever that's the case.
Totally.
Yeah.
So thinking of those folks just starting to look, what advice do you give to people as they're beginning this journey?
I had a design mentor when I first graduated, and I like asked this advice, or I asked for like any advice, and I was kind of like, oh, if I like get into this industry, like, will this be the way my career will go, like forever? Like, so I think just nothing is permanent. Like, if you take a job that you're not super excited about, like, you don't have to stay there forever. Like, you can kind of like mend, I don't know, or like shape your career the way you want to. And also a lot of it is what you do in your free time, like personal work. Honestly, yeah, I think personal work shapes like who you are as a designer more so than what you do at a full-time job. I think, at least for me.
So I have to ask you this. Outside of design, outside of your freelance, what are those other things that you've been doing that are kind of adding to your happiness in life?
Yeah. Lately I've been obsessed with aggressive quad skating. So I skate at skate parks a lot, and I actually just accepted a job to teach kids quad skating at skate parks. I'm really excited.
Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I start this weekend.
That's so great. Yeah. So it's really true. You really are making time for other things that also bring you joy.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Allie, so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thanks for sharing all this insight with everyone. And if people want to find you, where's a good place to look you up?
Probably just Instagram. It's just my name, Allie Osipov.
Awesome. And that name is in the track, so people can look up how to spell it.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, Allie.
Yeah, thanks, Abby.
Thank you all so much for listening. We'd love to hear your feedback. Feel free to send us a message or leave us a review. To learn more about the show, check out our website at designtogetherpod.com. Special thanks to Rob Weston at Great Magnet Recording Concerns for providing our post-production.